Hey guys, how's it going? I'm artist Charles Wolf. Welcome to Impulsive Artistry. I'm so excited to announce today the very first sponsor ever of this channel, Chalkola. Thank you so much to Chalkola and the whole team for sponsoring this video and for sending me some really awesome product that I'm going to check out with you today, right now. So we're going to check it out, see what they sent me, and we'll do some art with it very soon. I have here the package they sent me. Let's open this up and see what they sent. So these are 20 acrylic paint markers. They come in a variety of colors that you can see here. There's more on this side as well. I cannot wait to try some art with this. I'm going to try this on canvas. I'm also going to attempt this on some regular cardstock as well as some watercolor paper, see how it responds. It looks like, looking at the box here, that it is water-based and it is sort of an ink acrylic hybrid. So it's going to be interesting to try these and see how they react and how they handle. Very excited to see how they blend and what sort of interesting art things we can do with them today. I'm going to create a little simple landscape, kind of in a watercolory style, I'm assuming, based on the type of material that I'll be working with here. And we're going to find out what they look like right now. Okay, here I am opening up the box and pulling out all the colors I'm going to be using for this landscape. You can see that I'm mixing up the paint by shaking the colors and the markers that I'm going to be using for this first piece. You can see that I pulled out some blues, a white, a gray, and a couple of greens, and a little bit of a yellow. These acrylic paint markers have paint in the back half and then a small nib on the front. And what you do is you can shake the paint up, and the inside there's a little bead that goes back and forth to kind of mix up the paint. And then by pressing down firmly, you can get the paint to go from the back half onto the nib, and you have to repeatedly tap it. It sort of reminds me of a mechanical pencil, the end of one of those, where you can tap and press it down. There's a bit of a spring, and you can load the paint into the nib by doing so about 10 to 20 times, repeatedly tapping it straight down. Once you have the acrylic paint on the end, you can simply use the marker as a marker and begin to draw in your basic shapes. If I turn it at an angle, I can get a wider stroke, and I use that for the majority of the sky as well as the background mountains. And then I find if I turn the pen so that I have more of a perpendicular angle, I can get more fine details with just using the tip of the marker. These colors are bright. They're very vibrant colors. They come in a good variety, 20 different colors. Some of them are very neon and very bright. So be aware of that. If you're trying to do landscapes, there's only a select few that will fit with most traditional landscapes, but I think there's enough here, enough variety to get some interesting art pieces. These would particularly work for some sunrise or sunset ideas with all of the wonderful reds, oranges, pinks, and yellows that they've given us. So I'm going to go ahead after doing this piece and do something much more in that vein, as there are a variety of colors to use, much more in those colors. Here's the first piece that I put together. You can see I create a little mountain scene, and I get a good gradation in the sky by going from a darker blue to a lighter blue to a white. Continuing on to the next set of colors, and I'm going to be doing something here on a cardstock. Now, the first painting I did on canvas paper. This is a textured paper, and it grabs the acrylic paint really well. The paint dries very quickly because there's a small amount of it, and so you don't get a lot of time to move it around or to blend it too much. So just be aware of that fact that you need to blend things quickly together. I've taken some water here and given it a test to see if I can continue to blend a little bit after the fact, and it works somewhat, but not as well as, say, a regular acrylic paint will be. This is in a marker family for sure, and so it's a little bit different than if you were using regular acrylic paint. For the second piece, I'm painting here on a cardstock, and it doesn't grab the color as well. It seems to saturate all the paint right into the paper. These are not actually designed, I don't think, to be used on traditional paper. It seems like the canvas texture held the color better. And after looking at the box, it says it can do wood, ceramics, fabrics, things of that nature. Maybe not so much for regular cardstock paper, as it absorbs too much of the paint and it dries too quickly to be very effective. I've let it actually dry, and then I've started to layer over a little more color here after the fact, and that seems to work pretty well. And I've come back in after it's totally dry with some more of this wonderful peach color, which is just really pretty. So this little paper one, it works. You can do it on paper, but it's definitely not designed for that, and it was drying out the end of my nibs quickly, so just be aware. In a second, I'm going to grab some watercolor paper and give it a try on that and see how it goes, but definitely worked better on the canvas paper than this cardstock. Alright, let's create a nice horizon line, very high here, with some more of the light blue. I love this color. It's a very vivid, rich paint color, and I have to give them credit for that. They've done a wonderful job of creating some very vibrant, full colors, and they do blend fairly well. Not perfectly. It's much more like blending markers, for sure. You have a little more leeway than a traditional marker, so you just have to kind of work with what you've got with these. I'm going to do something a little sketchier, I think, for this one and see how that looks. Treat it more like a marker. The first one was kind of a hybrid of painting and markering. The second one is very much trying to make it a painting and seeing how that worked. So I'm going to go here much more sketchy, like a traditional marker, and see how that works for me. Putting in the beach here with this lovely kind of muted brown yellow raw sienna color, and then coming back in for these wave lines here with the light blue. It's all about layering your colors together. You can get some wonderful effects and wonderful things happening with just using the white of the paper. You can use that to your advantage if you're actually creating a piece with this. But today I'm going quickly, doing these time lapses just to give you the impression of what sort of effects you can get. And I'm not going step by step like I have in the past. There's plenty of videos on here for traditional paintings that you can check out that are step by step. But today we're reviewing this product, and I want to really show off what it can do quickly, which is why I did several pieces with it to try out a variety of techniques. I love the gray, and you'll see I'll start to try to overlay several colors together to get a more rich and varied effect. This is watercolor paper, and it's more of a textured paper, and it works better. I think it grabs the color, and you can see some of the texture pulling through very nicely. I'm really happy with the results of this piece and the first piece on the textured paper. It seems like that's definitely the way to go. Watercolor paper or canvas paper, those are going to work great. I would love to try it on some metal, on some wood, or some ceramics, see how that reacts maybe in the future. And we won't cover that today, as this video is long enough as it is. I'm going to grab some darker blue for some deeper shading and deeper shadows. Start to define the edges better, keeping it very loose and super sketchy for this piece, which I'm really liking the style of. I think it looks really cool and really nice. This is a single point perspective painting. It's very easy to do. Check it out. I have many videos like this where I do similar compositions, so check those out as well. Again, I want to say a huge thank you to Chalkola and the whole team for sending me this product to try today. And they have lots and lots of wonderful products on their website, as well as on Amazon and other places, so be sure to check them out. They also have a YouTube channel. I know they have videos on there that you can look at if you want more information about them and their products. Delightful peach color, as kind of a light sandy color. And I am getting a bit of some blending here with the darker sienna, but not too much. Just keep that in mind. One thing I will note about these is that you do need to continually be shaking them. They'll work for about 30 seconds or so, and then you have to definitely shake them and re-up the nib by pressing down a few times to really get it to flow once more. And you'll find that it'll start with a heavier flow of the acrylic paint, and it will diminish over time the more you use it. So some of the colors seemed like they worked really well and flowed really easily, and a few of the colors didn't seem like they flowed quite as much. The peach, for instance, was a little bit harder to use, but the blues and the grays came out beautifully. So there's a little variation there, but not so much that it was too frustrating or too difficult to get around. Just be aware that you do have to do some shake weight style movements to get it to all come together. So that's totally fine though. I think for the really cool effects that you're able to get with this, it's a nice trade-off, and it's different. It's a different approach, and it gives you time to think about what the next step's going to be sort of in the course of painting the piece. I have edited this together, kind of cutting forward a few times, so I'm not showing every step that I'm doing here, just so you know. So there are some pauses and there are some points where I'm just shaking that I have cut out today. And I had a blast sitting here by the window, beautiful snowy day when I did this, and it was a very relaxing, wonderful creative afternoon spent painting and trying something brand new, got my creative energy going, and I think that for someone who is a hobbyist, it is so much fun to have some new toys to play with and try some new techniques with some new mediums. Adding some more of the light white, that's a great blender color. It will pick up a little bit of the other colors, so you have to really shake it to get more of the white to come out, but it works pretty well as a blender. And there is the final sketchy ocean piece. These definitely are acrylic paint markers. They handle like markers and they blend together like markers. They have a little bit of blending capabilities like an acrylic paint would, but they're much more in the marker family. You're going to have much more distinctive lines than you would have, say, with a brush and traditional acrylic paint. If you're a serious artist, someone who is producing professional work, then this might not be the best product for you. However, if you're a hobbyist like I am, I thought they were a blast to use. They were so exciting and they were interesting and novel and different, and they got my creativity going in a way that is just so much fun. So I thank you to Chalkola for sponsoring this video and for helping me have a chance to try this product out. Something I might not have picked for myself, honestly, but the more I got to play with them, the more I liked them. They have bright colors, they're very vibrant, they work really well, and if you want something different and new and interesting to try, check them out. They have a website, of course, chalkola.com. You can get some products there. You can get them on Amazon as well. I'll put a discount code in the description below. You can check that out, get 10% off your next purchase. They have a YouTube channel as well, so head over there and check that out. And I will be back very soon with more paintings. Until then, be creative and keep being awesome.